Hey guys, I'm Comire, and if there's one thing I love more than video games, it's new video games. All the way from the trailer hype to the developer drama to ripping open the plastic on your brand new game and waiting 25 minutes to the day one update to finish downloading. This is Start and Select, and I want to tell you about the games that I'm most looking forward to right now. So first up, a game that, like several on this list, may not see the light of day in the next 12 months, but still deserves recognition in its own right. In this case, giving respect to a game series that not only took the lightsaber and made a rip-off, but actively looks plagiarism in the face and jerked off to it. The No More Hero games follow Travis Touchdown, a cold-blooded assassin who murders for glory, the love of a bad woman, and, most importantly, money for video game merch. The first two games saw him kill a clown's car's worth of other assassins to become #1. But in the third game, Travis is secluded, living in a trailer, retaining his status as a video game character with a less dangerous work life than Johnny Knoxville. The game's director is called Suda51, a man who apparently uses his Habertel screen name in front of people. He's kinda like the Eric Cartman of Japanese game development. Case in point, he decided whenever Travis's beam katana ran out of energy, you had to take your Wiimote in hand and shake it up and down like so. Even though you and me know it should probably be the size of a Joy-Con. Oh, don't make a gif of this! In No More Heroes 3, Travis will reportedly be interacting with the video games of 6 different indie developers such as Hotline Miami. Presumably, Suda51's so desperate for that invite to Smash Brothers, he's turned his own game into a crossover as a proof of concept. It's the kind of wild move you expect from a man that was so excited to announce his game, he almost definitely got a Japanese interpreter fired.
Hey. Oh, that didn't go very well. Hi everyone, I'm Suda51 from Grasshopper.
During the 90s, if someone mentioned the console war, they weren't talking about PlayStation versus Xbox. Now, it was rather about the bitter rivalry between Nintendo and Sega. You see, Nintendo had Mario of the Mushroom Kingdom, a walking friend zone and a pair of dungarees who continually inspired generations of platform games a dozen times over. Whereas Sega had Sonic of Hedgehog, a hyperactive blue Bart Simpson who continually inspired generations of furries. And Freedom Planet takes inspiration from the latter. Playing as the 4 main heroines, you'll race at super speeds, whiz past gorgeous pixel art environments, and use their unique fighting styles to prove that when Sonic the Hedgehog tries to win back the weirdest Sonic fan art game ever award, you can take it right back. In the first game, I found a single level quite lengthy, some taking me upwards of 30 minutes. So for the next, I'm hoping to be able to finish a level before Beyblades come back in style. I mean, it'd be weird if the main upgrade from Freedom Planet 1 to 2 wasn't shorter, tighter segments, but instead making all the characters look more grown up and more anime than ever before. I mean, it's like, well, watching Beyblade. But Freedom Planet 2 will have a greater emphasis on combat with more fleshed out attacks. Alongside the girls' different skills, they can all now guard as well as take on a gauntlet mode called the Battlesphere Arena. Because given the current conversations around women in media, developers Galaxy Trail probably felt it was necessary that whenever need be, a woman be able to defend herself and kick some ass. Freedom Planet 2 is currently estimated for the beginning of 2019, having been pushed back so Galaxy Trail can help out in another game, Grapple Force Arena. I know. Clearly their mums never taught them to finish what's on their plate before looking at seconds. Developer Quantic Dream have made a bit of a name for themselves in making nuanced video games that put player choices at the heart of the experience, as seen in games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. So, in their next game, Detroit Become Human, it's safe to assume that we can expect mystery, powerful social themes, and, if we're really lucky, some gameplay. Detroit Become Human takes place in a world where human-looking androids are commonplace, serving their fleshy, Adam Sandler movie-loving human overlords. The story involves the robots questioning their servitude and rebelling against the status quo. During the game, players will be able to play as multiple characters, rewind over past sections, and generally make more questionable decisions than a geek girl alone in a room with a passed out Adam Driver. But although being touted as a neo-noir thriller, I'm a bit worried whether there are any actual real stakes in this game. You see, the laws of robotics state that A robot may not allow a human being to come to harm, B, a robot must obey a human unless it contradicts A, and C, a robot must protect itself unless it contradicts A or B. These laws are fixed, clear, unbreakable, and absolutely must, I repeat, must be adhered to by any and all robots without exception.
And set alight, leaving many Detroit neighborhoods in chaos. Numerous storefronts have been broken.
Daniel, the only question is whether or not you take another innocent life. I'm holding all the cards. If I die, she dies.
Huh. Right. We now come to a man who looks like a geisha with an addiction to protein shakes. A man that's been giving albino kids a role model since 2005. A man who, in his prime, was the answer to the question, what would happen if you mixed the raw sex appeal of Hot Ryu with an egg? But a man who now looks like what the fat guy Mulan thinks he looks like every time he looks in the mirror. In Dog of War, he reconvened with Kratos, years after his disagreement with Zeus. He's got a son, a new home among the Norse gods, and a bit more of a handle on the anger issues. Just a bit. It's at this point I'd say that changing from a Greek mythology setting to a Norse mythology setting hardly matters to the average bystander. But you try telling Kratos that his beard and Odin's look basically the same. I tell you this for free, he won't be happy. Kratos is older, and with age comes wisdom. Reminiscent of Ezio in Assassin's Creed Revelations. Except this time, he gets an axe rather than a parachute in a tower defense game. He tackles the challenges of being a single father to Atreus, raising his young mind to control the powers of the god within him, while also teaching him how to hunt in a pair of Ugg boots. Santa Monica Studio have commented that Kratos is played throughout the whole game with limited control given to his son at times. But I think it's obvious that at the end Kratos will die and the mantle of serious protagonist will pass on to Ginger Gohan over there. I mean, I know this is supposed to be a soft reboot, kinda like Tomb Raider did, but let's be honest, if there's one thing that doesn't scream fresh, it's middle age. Restarting of old Kratos would be kinda like kicking off the X-Men films with Logan. So, before I give my final anticipated game, I'ma just drop some quick honourable mentions. That's right, it's time for a list in a list. First off, Attack on Titan 2. I mean, I didn't even realise the first game came out already, but apparently there's a second one now. I got a chance to play the first one actually, which was pretty badass, so I'm trusting the second to be a fun, mindless slash fest. I mean, what else would you expect from the guys that only make Dynasty Warriors reskins? Honourable mention 2 goes to Fire Emblem Switch, cause Mark knows that soundtrack is gonna be banging. Those Fire Emblem Fates tunes, sing it to me! Kingdom Hearts 3! Because no one is allowed to do a games I'm looking forward to list without a quick shout out to the game that's been coming out next year for the last 10 years. Both Mega Man 11 and Shenmue 3. I wasn't part of these series' fandoms when they were big, but I respect their legacy and I'm happy for everyone that derives joy from the announcement of their successors. Even if you won't feel gratification anytime this lifetime. Shoutouts to Melania Trump. And Faye. This, by all accounts, looks like a decent little indie game with a lovely aesthetic. I get vibes from Limbo and Journey and a great short film I saw a few years back called Cuden. But it's an EA original. And after what they've been pulling, I don't really want to give money to EA. Be warned developers, public association with EA may have negative consequences. And finally, The witch is back, getting ready to destroy the entirety of heaven, hell, and any and all age rating systems with one swift stomp of her heel. We don't know much about this game yet, so far getting little more than a teaser, which considering Bayonetta's dress sense is entirely appropriate. When fighting the powers of darkness and light, her hair serves as both a gateway to her finishing moves and her clothes. Yeah, it's hard to compliment her character design without sounding like a pug humping the kitchen tiling at the first sight of Underboob. So just go with as best you can. I mean, she's no more or less sexualized than any other video game female like 2B or Quiet or Dahlia. Oh, I get it, all Japanese game devs are pervs. Damn. Now, incoming slight plot spoiler for the end of Bayonetta 2, but similar to God of War 3, she kinda ends up killing God. So, I'm not sure where you go from there. I mean, you could hardly spend the sequel running a little bakery in Cologne when 10 minutes ago you discovered a split end and use it to obliterate a space station. Since Bayonetta's gone from Beehive to Pixie Cut, I propose the third game be the quest to find her next hairstyle. And the final boss should be trying to convince a black hairdresser to give a white girl cornrows. and like any time they try to snatch their weave, they just end up opening a demon portal to the Shadow Realm. You know, like it's the Yu-Gi-Oh version of Worldstar Hip Hop. Cut. So those are the ones I'm most looking forward to. And now, what about you? Let me know your video game picks for the future. And I'm looking to start something fun in the comments soon, so leave me something good, okay? And same thing goes if you send me a tweet as well. But, like always, I've been Comire. This has been Start and Select. Thank you, and good night. Now, what followed was a dull, frankly depressing trawl for a number of online shops. Like, have you ever tried to find a Super Mario hoodie online? Word of advice, don't. It's awful, you'll only ever find clothes made for 5-year-olds, and eventually you'll get so depressed you'll send an email to Nintendo that they'll never respond to.